Let's have a conversation. Tell me what you think about the issues of the world. What kind of spice you wanna be? Tell me where you wanna travel. Do you believe in luxury? What's your hidden passion? What makes you so unique? Conversations with Nicole. Conversations with Nicole. Conversations with Nicole. Conversations with Nicole.
Greetings, greetings, greetings. I am Nicole Everett, the host of Conversations with Nicole, and it is what I call What Women Want Wednesday. Today is Wednesday, May 20th, 2020, and this is an interactive live, an opportunity for us to exchange ideas, get to know each other a little better, and I throw a topic out there, and I have a guest. And we will get going in terms of this topic. So I'm very super excited to share my guest with you, Mrs. Felicia Dilbert. She is the founder and CEO of Beautiful Healing. We're going to be talking about Beautiful Healing, but before we get started, we can only see you if you comment. So I can see that there are about 12 people looking, but I need to know who is looking. So if you will put a hello, good evening, a greetings, happy Wednesday, what women want Wednesday, something in the comments so we can see that you are there. All right, I see a thumbs up. But put something in the comments. Let me know who's out there watching us. All right. All right, so I'm gonna wait a few moments. All right, I see Kathy. Hey, Kathy, good to see you. Thanks for being on the live. So we are in for a treat. I'm gonna bring forth Felicia so she can give a bit of an introduction about herself. So welcome, Felicia. Yay!
Glad to be here, Nicole. How's it going?
Going well, going well. So tonight we're talking about Beautiful Healing, which happens to be the name of your business. But before we jump into that, I want you to share with my viewers a little bit about yourself, where you're from, what you do, and what prompted you to start Beautiful Healing.
Absolutely. Well, first, I just want to say thank you so much for the opportunity to come on, What Women Want Wednesday and show some love from this side. Usually I'm on signing on in the comments right about now, showing some love that way. But I appreciate you and I applaud you for all that you do in the community, Nicole. But I am from South Georgia, and like Nicole mentioned, my name is Felicia Dilbert. I'm the founder of Beautiful Healing, and I'm a wife, child of God, a sister, a godmother, and a daughter of Lee Henry Williams and Phyllis Marie Williams. And so Beautiful Healing, wow. I received those two words in a dream, actually, in 2007. And I woke up knowing those two words. I have always had a sense of knowing with my, just like a prophetic gift and from the Lord. And so I woke up and I wrote those two words down after I had had an encounter the night before when I was working in retail, and I had worked with a customer, and she really enjoyed her makeup experience, but also mentioned that when she got home and washed the makeup off, her life was a train wreck. And so I remember having her still in my spirit when I clocked out that night, and then prayed for her that evening. I think I even maybe called my mom on the way home from work and just shared, how the experience went. And so that next morning, I remember waking up and just having Beautiful Healing in my mind. And I wrote the words down and just kind of let it go. And when I did share that with my mother, about probably like a week and a half later, she was just like, that is really special. Make sure you write those words down, keep those words, own those words, because that is something that you will live through. you will go through, and then you will know what it really means. And she was right about that. So yes, but Beautiful Healing is this faith-based business that is also a movement that involves women and equipping women to unlearn unworthiness unapologetically. And
Mm,
I believe that the root of a lot of issues with women comes from a place of feeling unworthy. And
mm.
so it is my honor to carry forth this calling the Lord has given me.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So we have a few more people on the live. So I want to take a moment to say greetings to them and acknowledge them. Hey there, Leslie. Still say hello,
Mhm.
Felicia Nicole. And I
Hello.
don't know if you know this gentleman.
That's my sweetie pie, my Lulu. Hey, Lou.
So that's Felicia's husband. Greetings. And then Javon, modeling out of Atlanta, she's here. Welcome, Javon. Thanks for tuning in. So I would like for those of you who are viewing to tell us what you think of when you hear the term beautiful healing. What do you think of when you hear the term beautiful healing? Beautiful healing. So, for those of you who are normally on the live, y'all know that definitions are huge for me.
Mhm.
I like to define words so that we'll be on the same page or a similar page
Right.
when we're talking. So, I took the liberty of looking up beautiful
Okay.
and healing. I don't know if
Okay.
have you done that, Felicia?
I have. It's been a little
Okay,
while, but I,
okay,
I know my word, and but I would love you to hear it. Go
okay,
for
okay.
it.
So beautiful is pleasing the senses of mind aesthetically. It is also of a very high standard, excellent.
Mhm.
Healing is becoming sound and healthy again
Mhm.
and tending to health and healing. Tending to health, tending to
Mhm.
health. So yeah, I just thought it was kind of meaningful to look that up to kind of see what the dictionary had to say about
Mhm.
beautiful healing.
Oh,
So we got a
awesome.
few comments in here, so I definitely want to share those. But wait, hold on. We got Leslie said Jordan sends greetings. Hey, Miss Jordan. So Jordan is
Hello.
Leslie's granddaughter.
Yeah.
And then Gerald is on. He said, "Hey, Nicole and
Hey,
Felicia."
Carol.
Gerald is the person who keeps the technology going for me. So appreciate that. All right. So Javon said, peaceful and cleansing stillness.
Nice.
That's
Nice.
what she thinks of when she hears the term beautiful healing.
I
Yes.
love it.
Love it, love it, love it. All right. Anybody else? When you hear the term beautiful healing, you hear those words, what do you think of? What do you think of? All right. So we'll get a few more folks probably chiming
Mhm.
in a little later. So
Cool.
let's dive in.
Okay.
Let's dive in. So I love the name
Mhm.
and I think it makes for a great conversation piece from the standpoint when you think about healing, there's something that's either broken or not functioning the way it should be functioning.
Mhm.
Or, and a lot of times when you're going through the healing process, it's
Yes.
not all that beautiful.
Mm-mm.
It's, it's not all that
No.
beautiful to be yeah. So I was thinking about that. It's like, healing oftentimes is hard, is
Yeah.
difficult, is challenging, and
Mhm.
sometimes you got to get your ugly cry on, and there's nothing beautiful
There's
about it.
nothing beautiful about that. I hear you. I hear you. Yeah.
So tell me what when I know you just shared that awesome story about your experience with the customer at the makeup
Mhm.
counter and how when she took off the makeup, she felt like her life was a train wreck.
Mhm.
But still in the midst of experiencing that, there had to be some beauty, there had to be some healing that took place.
Right.
Mm,
Right. Absolutely. And she was basically saying that she had bought like $500 worth of makeup.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, I know I'm going to help you make your sales goal tonight. You know, working in retail, you have your daily goals or whatever. And she was just like, I just want it all. I just love it. And when I was doing her makeup, I realized I could feel like the connection and could feel something was going on with her. I try not to pry doing that work. I always have had that counseling spirit and heart for connecting, but that was clearly outer beauty type of work. So she ended up telling me, you know, I wish you could come home with me and do my makeup, you know. But when I wash all of this off tonight, my life is a train wreck. And so what really spoke to me in that was just like the outer is can be so adorned, and then inside there was some things going on in her life that she described as like the train wreck. So as time went on, I remember wondering, you know, what does beautiful healing mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so um, I ended up learning what my mother was talking about when it was October of 2016. And that was the time that she was diagnosed with stage 4 small cell lung cancer. And
Mm-hmm.
so as we began to go through that in our family, and unfortunately, mom began to decline,
Mm-hmm.
I began to have a lot of just kind of like a download of words, like not audible, but I would just write a lot.
Okay.
And everything that was coming out had to do with, like, I feel like the Lord was preparing my heart for the days to come. So what he showed me was I was basically, I mean, my mother was suffering the most out of everybody, obviously.
Right.
And all of us, her children, me being the oldest of her kids, and then my brothers, my sister who was 17 at the time, my father, we all were just like, oh my God. And mom, as she got closer to be with the Lord, she closer to home, her homegoing of passing on to be with the Lord, she basically told me, she said, you're going to begin to understand a lot more. Be prepared, Felicia. You're going to be okay. And
Mm-hmm.
so basically, Nicole, as I call it my valley experience after losing her, I got very ill, and there was just a lot of things that happened. But the Lord showed me that he was always with me in that valley of grief and of not being well in my body, dealing with diabetes. And like you said, the ugly stuff. And I mean, just all kind of stuff. And the Lord really showed me, I will give you beauty for every ash. I am who I say I am.
Mm-hmm.
And just by leading me to the right medical care and different, just amazing things that are like, this is not just a coincidence. And so I really believe that beautiful healing is all about the fact that he is sovereign and he's all knowing, and everything in him is beautiful. We may not ever understand it, but really it's synonymous, Nicole, to like the will, like God's will for every woman. So what he really broke down to me was, I began my path of beautiful healing after I realized that I was going to make some changes and be committed to walking out his will for my life. So there's 4 steps that he basically helped me to understand as I was going through it. And the first one is acknowledgement.
Mm-hmm.
We always have to acknowledge a thing or whatever it is. I knew that I wanted to find out how I could live on without my mom. So I had to acknowledge that. That was one of many things that I needed to acknowledge to really get to progress, right? So I acknowledged it. Then I began to, you know, kind of imagine myself being in a healthier place and having some hope for a future, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I remember, you know, taking down notes and trying to just, by then I had gotten some therapy and learned how to process my thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
So imagining better for my life. And then making that commitment, Nicole, making a commitment that I don't know how, Lord, but I'm going forward. I am not going to go back. And then the fourth one is to step forward, to literally step forward and be committed to whatever God's will is, no matter what, as you begin to walk on your path of beautiful healing. So that has been my journey. And I am grateful for the beautiful people like yourself that have come along while I've been continuing to do that. And I am so excited to work with other sisters and empower them as they begin their path of beautiful healing.
Indeed, indeed. So let me just look. I'm a note taker because that's how I learn. So
Yeah.
I think I heard you say acknowledgement,
Mm-hmm.
imagine it,
Mm-hmm. Imagine. Yes.
imagine,
Mm-hmm.
commitment, and then stepping forward.
Yes.
Okay. All right. We're gonna break that down in just a moment. But Javon had a comment, and I'm not quite sure which what was said that prompted her to say this. She said, "Not always. Sometimes it's tears."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Javon, if you could provide us with a little more clarity on that, I appreciate it. And
Mm-hmm.
then Miss Kiana, Master Key is on here, so she's giving us a wave. So greetings, thanks for being on the live. So we're talking about beautiful healing. Felicia just kind of broke down the tenets of her organization, Beautiful Healing, which include acknowledgement, imagine, commitment, and stepping forward. Stepping forward.
Yes.
So, I think that acknowledgement piece is huge.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times we can, be in denial about things, or, you know, maybe think that it's easier for us to not deal with it. It'll go away, or,
Mm-hmm.
the further time as time passes, the further we get from it. But,
Yeah.
we carry those broken pieces inside of us. All right.
Right. Right.
And the acknowledgement piece, which can be, again, painful
Mm-hmm.
sometimes, is needful in order to begin the healing process.
Absolutely. It's so important to be able to speak out of your mouth, not that anybody's talking to themselves or anything like that, but to be able to own your reality. I I have ADHD. And
Mhm.
so many times when I say that, there have been many saints, well meaning, don't claim it, don't say that.
Mhm.
And I know, I get it, right? But it is true, Nicole. And so until, the symptoms go away or whatever, but what I'm getting at is that's not even the part of it that I want to camp out on. The part of it is I need to acknowledge that, and I do. And now I know how to navigate and work with different people in a successful way, so they know what I'm working with, and then we can create this wonderful partnerships, really do some great art with what beautiful healing is all about, which is a lot of creative efforts. So when I began to learn about that, it was a divine situation, and I learned what it was called, how to navigate it, and I was an adult when I learned about it. So that was huge for me, to be able to articulate what this thing is, and then to be able to learn how to, rock with it, so I can do what I need to do. And
Right.
that's the power of freedom and walking in your healing, because there's a whole better life on the other side of that acknowledgement. That's a big part of it.
Yes, 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 yes. So we got a few more comments. So let me go back and acknowledge these folks that are here. All right. We got Ursula on here. Good evening, Ursula. She said, good evening, everyone. Glad you joining us. Ursula said she was trying to get her sleep pattern back, but I guess she must have took a nap earlier today. So glad to have you. All right. Vanessa's on here. Greetings,
Hi,
Vanessa.
Vanessa.
Tuning in. And then Mr. Johnny is on here. Thank you for tuning in, Johnny. His question is this organization only for women?
Hello, Mr. Johnny. I'm glad you asked that question, because a number of sirs have tuned in with Beautiful Healing and are very much so interested. So I always, we embrace everybody. I mean, primarily I work with women and empowerment and equipping them with unlearning unworthiness, but there is always room for the sirs. So definitely you can stay tuned and check out my website for different events that Lewis will be heading up for the sirs.
Okay, good. That's good to know. So there'll be something for the brethren to engage in. But you can stay on here, Johnny, because
Yeah, don't go nowhere.
even though what women want Wednesday, you can see what we're talking about. All right. I see Tiffany Tip on here.
Hi,
Good
Tiffany.
evening. Good to see you, sis. All right. Javon clarified for me. She said earlier when you brought up that beautiful healing and going through the healing process, there can be tears and
Yeah,
pain that we go through to get to our peace. Yes. So
absolutely.
thank you for the clarification and agreed, agreed, agreed. All right, so acknowledgement is step one. Then we get on to imagine.
Hmm.
hmm So, now, with the imagine piece, um, I envision that you are imagining yourself being healed,
Yeah.
um, and what that looks like. But let me ask you. So,
Mhm.
I think a lot of times with brokenness, there can be some unresolved unforgiveness.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if maybe in between the acknowledgement and the imagine, maybe
Hmm.
there's some forgiveness that needs to take place, either a person who may have victimized you or a forgiveness of yourself. Right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Like if, for example, let's say, um, you know, dealing with this whole quarantine.
mhm.
Let's say I've been eating too many Oreos. It doesn't always have to be something real deep, but I'm just gonna use this as an example. And Lewis can tell you for sure that the Oreos, it was really rough. Thank goodness. Haven't had any Oreos in about, I can't remember when, so I'm doing good. But
Yesterday.
basically, nah, I don't even remember when. Earlier, the beginning of this quarantine, let me tell you. But anyway, so let's say, I'm done with Oreos. I need to do better. So let's say, okay, I'm acknowledging me and them Oreos, we got to cut it out.
Mhm.
Okay, so then when I say imagine, it's not just like going from acknowledging to like this fun amazing place, but it's basically me just sitting still and realizing, okay, I need to really do something about this. What is it that is going to motivate me to really commit? So that's why it's right there in between acknowledge and commit, because I need to really get my mind involved in this so that I can make a shift, and then when I commit, I'm really serious.
Mhm.
So that's why I felt like that was the right piece to go in there. And then you're right, like I needed to forgive myself. I mean, don't be so hard on yourself,
Mhm.
but at the same time, don't give yourself too much leeway, because then next thing you know, I'll be back in there with them Oreos. So I just knew, okay, it was time to get them out the house. And Lewis is a runner. He runs every day. More power to him on that. But I knew I needed to make a shift. So so anyway, yeah, but you're right though. That forgiveness, that's really important. And I have something that I do. I call it a check-in with self check-in, and I check on people too. But I began to once I started getting treatment for getting the diabetes managed and all of that, I realized that I really needed to set some boundaries and
Mhm.
focus on making sure that just as much as I was checking in and loving on others, I was doing that for myself. And
Mhm.
so I sit down, and intentionally write down things that deal with emotions, especially like I said then, because that was a lot of grief. But just making sure, like how am I feeling in my body? Am I holding tension anywhere?
Mhm.
Am I stressed about anything? Is
Mhm.
there anything bothering me or like keeping me from progressing in maybe doing something I love? What is that thing? And just taking that time to check in with self. And that's generally when I can identify, okay, I need to focus on this relationship. Something's not sitting well with me with
Mhm.
this friendship or something like that. And then I know I need to take action if I want to get on the other side of it.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. So Javon commented and said, I agree with her. Acknowledging is not the same as claiming it. God gives us trails and acknowledging things, trials, and acknowledging things can be a gift to someone else that feels alone or long suffering, I think she meant.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, no, it's acknowledging it is not claiming it, but oftentimes I know that you know, certain folks can follow that line of thinking, which
Yeah.
is a little out of order, but
Yeah.
we get it. We get it. We
Yeah.
get it. Okay. Lewis said, rough with the Oreos, but you pulled through. So kudos for pulling through with the
Yes.
Oreos. Yes.
More, it was getting rough.
All right. So so in your example, so now you would imagine yourself with celery and carrot sticks instead of the Oreos, right?
Not quite there yet, but Oreo less. So that
Okay.
we'll let that, banana or two, so
Uh-huh,
them get
uh-huh. Yeah, somebody got a sweet tooth.
yeah.
No judgment. No
Yes.
judgment.
Thank
I
you.
got
Thank
one too.
you. Thank you.
All right. So now we're imagining, we're visualizing, and hopefully with that, well, before we go
Mhm.
away from that, um, what role does meditation play in all of that?
That's a really good question. And I actually wanted to learn more about meditation from you because I saw that you were saying someone you had learned meditation from somebody, I think on one of your other shows,
Uh-huh.
and right with Yashika. And I'll be honest, when I pray, I write my prayers down and
Mhm.
I listen sometimes to myself. I record myself and I'll listen to different things that I'm praying about or that are in my spirit.
Mhm.
But I don't meditate in the traditional sense. And I would really love to learn more about that because I definitely know for sure anything that helps calm the mind is a great practice and different people benefit from different things.
Mhm.
So I would like to know from you, how do you get into your meditative, you know,
So
space?
meditation is greatly beneficial to me. Um, the way I was taught was to meditate twice daily for 20 minutes.
Okay.
And it's part of my daily regimen, if you will. My self-care, my healing, it does slow me down. When I fall asleep during meditation, it means I'm really tired. I know
Okay.
it seems like impossible within 20 minutes to fall asleep, but sometimes it happens.
Yeah.
Um, but it does help me with the imagining
Hmm.
piece.
Okay.
Um, yeah, so I may the way I was taught was that you don't spend too much time with any one thought.
Okay.
Um, just kind of let them flow
Mhm.
and don't get too bogged down with, going down rabbit trails in terms of
Okay.
different scenarios. But
Mhm.
I do oftentimes get ideas about things, and stuff kind of bubbles up that
Yeah.
maybe I wasn't thinking about, but I'll get a notion about how to handle something, or um,
Yeah.
about imagining, my healing. So
Got it. Mm.
yeah, I think for me, it works very well. Sometimes I go into prayer while I'm meditating. It just
Mhm.
kind of, each
Mhm.
experience is different. So, but
Wonderful.
I think it does help you visualize. It helps you imagine. It helps you conceptualize. Um, things that may be on your heart and in your mind that you aren't really cognizant of during that time. So,
Okay. That's
yeah.
that's cool. I would love to learn a little bit more about that. Talk
Okay.
about yeah.
Cool, 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 cool. So we got some more folks on here. Let me acknowledge them. We got Dr. Asha Brewer on here. She said awaken presence. So this is way
Hello.
past Dr. Asha's bedtime, but I'm grateful she's here. She's actually our guest for next Wednesday's
Oh,
One
awesome.
Wednesday. Yeah, because we got She T 2020 coming up. So
Yes.
yes, excited about that. All right,
Awesome.
and then Miss Ashley Scott is on. She said, yes, sometimes I fall asleep too, but creating an equal balance between resting my mind and relaxation. So
Mhm. That's good.
absolutely agree. Yes. Yeah. So all right. So imagine and then on to commitment.
Right, right. So, commitment is key because I just feel like every time I had a goal or something that I wanted to do, if I didn't really commit to it, and like, sticking with the same example of the Oreos, or even something more serious like, you know, desiring to, let's say, if I wanted to strengthen my writing skills, being really consistent about doing what it takes to get to that goal. So at that point, regardless of what it is, Nicole, that woman has that opportunity to decide, like, am I really serious about this?
Mm-hmm.
I know that I said I wanted to do, like I said, if I wanted to, for example, strengthen my writing skills, then I will be doing certain things, putting certain things in place to make sure that that happens, and not just be like this thought that just came and went. And so, when I began to really realize that beautiful healing was more than just 2 words.
Mm-hmm.
I talked to Lewis, and he was like, I can really, really tell that it's time for you to step into this full time. And
Mm-hmm.
so I talk about, like, I felt like I was going through my experience of, in the Bible where it talks about the man that was the invalid man that was next to the pool, and he was there for 38 years. And the Lord, Jesus said to him, do you want to be healed? And he said, but nobody will put me in the water. And so I think about that, because I was thinking, how am I going to make it without a full-time job? Lord, are you really calling me to do this?
Mm-hmm.
This, that, and not, it's time to go move on. It is time. And the Lord just made it so clear. So that commitment, is definitely a part of the 4 steps to when a woman begins to walk on her path of beautiful healing. But that was something that I had to walk through myself. And it was very, very scary. But so many doors were opening wide open, Nicole, that showed me it's time to go. And it was time to trust the Lord with all the things that he was telling me to do, and realize that's not just a great idea. That's actually the Lord opening up an opportunity for you to share more about beautiful healing, do something with it. So, and my mom used to always kid me saying, you're going to have to do something with the great ideas that come. You're going to have to do something with that one day, because I won't be here to always laugh with you and talk about it. And I just never really imagined, that would be the reality one day. So here I am, doing what I got to do.
Cool. So I think that what also goes along with commitment is decision. I
Yes.
think that there is something about a made up mind and you
Yes.
deciding to do whatever that thing is. Like,
Mhm.
you have got to say, okay, set your intention on, you know, I'm not gonna eat these Oreos anymore. Right.
Right.
So once you
Right.
decide, then, committing to that effort, definitely, being intentional about, I'm not going down the cookie aisle.
Exactly.
I'm not, I'm just
Exactly.
not even gonna do it. I'm not gonna tempt myself
Mhm.
like that, because I know how weak I am, or build up such a wall such
Mhm.
that it doesn't phase you. Now that might not be the case initially. You may have to
Right.
build to get to that point, but
Right.
you know, being committed. I think, used to be folks used to talk about your word being your bond, all right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
keeping your word. And we now in today's society seem so wishy-washy about things, and
Yeah.
only do things that's gonna benefit us, or be, what we like, or get the most fun or pleasure out of.
Yeah.
And you know, your word is bond. I changed my mind.
You know, and my thing is, I do my very best, Nicole, to be very intentional about people that are in my world. And I feel you 100%. And I realize, though, when I'm intentional and I really maybe watch this person and, see the fruit on their life, not to be opportunistic, but that person is a good listener, or, that person follows up. That person is that woman's worth her salt, meaning if if something's in my hair, she comes up and gets it out of my hair and not just let me walk around, that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
And so, yes, you are so right. People can be so flaky, but I just do my very best to remember that women, we need each other, and I've been out there where I don't need nobody, and that is a lonely way. So I feel that the community, women supporting each other, being there for each other is very healthy. And then it's really cool to see trust and confidence build within the sisters. And then next thing you know, you've got. That's reliable. So,
Mhm.
but you are very, very right. There's a lot of kind of wishy-washy stuff going on. I try to be intentional though with people.
Okay, good deal. So Ursula commented and said, when your mind is made up, everything becomes intentional. You surround
Absolutely.
yourself with the things that are that are at the front of your mind's thought, your thoughts. So agree, very much agree. And then I think also surrounding yourself by disciplined people or people that are going to also hold you accountable, not
Yes,
in a judging, condemning, belittling way, but in a
right.
healthy, encouraging, edifying way. I think that
Absolutely.
also helps as well.
For sure.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So let's see. We've talked about acknowledgement, imagine, commitment, and then stepping forward.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right.
So stepping forward is like that final part before the woman begins to go on to her path. And I feel like, have you ever been in a situation where you know it's time to make a change, but you're a little hesitant? Maybe it's time to step away from a particular um, friendship. Just
Mhm.
it's time to, and maybe you don't want to, do that or whatever. But I find that when we have the confidence and trusting in God, this has to stop and step forward in confidence. I'm gonna be by myself. I won't have this person, but
Mhm.
I what's on the other side of that has got to be better than what I know in this. And
Mhm.
so stepping forward is really like embodying that decision, like you were saying, and I'm gonna go. And then I always find how the Lord will surprise us and bless us with somebody that's so much more easier to connect with, vibe with, or maybe it's an opportunity of another opportunity with a job, or it's always better though. And I love how sovereign God is, because he's the author of the masterpiece of life, so
Yeah.
you have to trust him, but stepping forward is really important.
Mm-hmm. So we got some more comments. Ashley said, so true. And then
Mhm.
Margot, I'm gonna scroll down to Margot, who I did not know was on here, but good to see you, Miss Margot. And Dr. Asha, I'm gonna come back to your comment in just a minute. Margot said, we definitely need a community. It's difficult to do it all on your own.
Absolutely.
Yes. So
Absolutely.
Dr. Asha said, I think because we have so much accessibility to each other's phone, text, DM, etc., we can
Mhm.
change our minds, decommit so quickly versus back when the only communication was the landline.
That's a good point.
Therefore, we make decisions in the moment instead of stepping back to really process and let it marinate before we commit. That is something I have been thinking about and working on.
That's
Very good
good.
point.
That's
Very
excellent point. Excellent, excellent. I like that because one thing I've learned in the quarantine too, and I'd be
good.
interested to know if Dr. Asha, if you've been feeling this as well, but I've just realized how important it is to, just be mindful, even of people that I'm talking to.
Mhm.
And that was something that I never really, had the space within whatever I was doing prior to this to acknowledge or even, stop. What do we really need to discuss? Is this a good time?
Mhm.
What are my goals for the next couple of hours? Where is the conversation going to go?
Yes.
And I just become more conscious of that. And so this quarantine has really helped me. And I hope that, it's been fruitful in the lives of people, because it is such a sad time for so many people that have been sick and have lost life. However, I hope it's been valuable in some capacity because I know it has been for me.
So I'm glad that you mentioned that. That just prompts me to ask a question of the viewers.
Hmm.
What have you learned about yourself, or what have you been in the process of healing during this time of staying at home, this time of quarantine, this time of, you know, being sheltered in place? What
Yeah,
have you learned, either learned about yourself, or what healing are you going through right now?
that's good.
I will share because I actually asked this question of one of my Leadership Tallahassee classmates. And my first response, I actually gave three responses, but my first response was that I have found that I've used people as a crutch to procrastinate regarding working on me.
Wow.
I've used people as a crutch
Hmm.
to procrastinate with regards to working on me.
Okay. Okay.
And the reason I say that is because I am very social. I
Mhm.
love to be out and about, with my friends and
Mhm.
acquaintances and meeting new people and that sort of thing. But I also need time to work on me. And I
Gotcha.
have been neglecting that for quite some time.
Hmm.
The first 2 weeks of this, I was not happy at all because all of my activities shut down. No
Yeah.
more dancing, no more church, no more going out to eat,
Yeah.
going to the coffee shop, going to
Hmm.
the stores like I used to like to do, all of that
Yeah.
cut off. And so that drives me some, that motivates me some, but there is also some healing that I needed to do and
Okay.
have been doing from
Yeah.
that time to this. I've probably
Absolutely.
cried about 3 or 4 times during these past 2 months, and I don't like to cry. I
You're
am
not alone, though. You're not alone.
joy. I like to be happy. I see the glasses half full rather than half empty, and I don't have time to be angry and mad and sad and disappointed and hurt. But
Right.
sadness has its place,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
tears are cleansing for the soul.
Absolutely. And
Mhm.
I honor your truth right now, and expressing that because it has definitely been an odd time for a number of people that I've been working with. My clients are dealing, and it's just like, where's my normal? But the beautiful thing in it that I really appreciate, even with my own journey, is it's like the light is being shined on dark spots in our heart or different things that we would have never even known needed attention. And the beautiful thing about that is we can now walk forth knowing, okay, I know that's going on. That's a situation that I need to be mindful of, and not to, feel bad about or self-loathe and get down like that, but be able to say, okay, that's something that I need to love on myself in that way. That's the language I use instead of I need to do my work. Sure, we all got work to do, but I
Mhm.
just feel like the self-love language gives me that more motivation to be like, okay, true, I need to really love myself in that way. That's an area that I have some some friction in my heart or whatnot. And I really
Some growing to do. Some growing to do.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And there's nothing wrong with that,
Mhm.
it's really healthy. Yes.
Mhm. Mhm. Okay, good deal. So Dr. Asher commented. She said, "Lesson learned. God's got it, and He doesn't need my help. Working on peaceful productivity." I like how she did that. So she did the
Awesome.
lesson that she's learned is that
Yes.
God's got it, and He doesn't need my help, and she's working on peaceful productivity. Love it. Love
Good.
it. Love it. Love it.
Good. Awesome.
All right. Ursula responded and said, I enjoy my company and I have embraced my introvert self. I also have been even more selective about who and what takes up space in my life.
That's
Awesome.
good. That's
Love it.
good.
Love it. Love
Good for
it.
you.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes. Kudos, Ursula. I am learning that. So I am learning that, especially as especially as a person that leans. I feel like I'm both introvert and extrovert, but I
Mhm.
definitely lean more towards the extrovert side. So,
Yeah,
yeah. All
that's
right.
good.
Lewis chimed in and he said the quarantine has was initially an extrovert's nightmare, but the extra time to rest the mind and body has nourished my soul. It's a form of healing, so we shouldn't return to business as usual when things fully open again. Lewis, you have said a whole mouthful there because I have had
Mhm.
that very conversation with several folks
Yeah.
about several extroverts such as
Mhm.
myself
Mhm.
about how busy we were, and it's like, for what? Why? And we're doing too much, and we need to have some harmony in our lives, which includes loving on ourselves, as
Yeah.
Felicia said. So, I think once there's a I said return to usual, which I don't think is going to be usual anymore, but
Yeah. Same here.
we got to still remember this time,
Mhm.
from the standpoint of the walks that we were taking, the
Yeah.
meals that we were preparing, reaching out to friends and loved ones on a more frequent basis. Um,
Absolutely.
all of these are very important things, and they work together so that we can be whole, so that we can be healed, so we can experience beautiful healing. So,
And
yeah,
Nicole, I was just gonna share, I'm so proud of Lewis because he is an extrovert and very much so. Always has been an extrovert.
mhm,
And when we were just friends, I always knew Lewis loves to go and connect with people and everything. And
mhm,
so I can empathize with the extroverts of how all of this has been. But something that's really key
mhm,
is that I like how you were saying that you enjoy going and being around people, but now there's this time that you've taken and been intentional about. And like you were saying with meditating, I just thought about the lifestyle shift of whatever that meditation does, and empowers you and rest, that whatever you've been doing to shift can also continue on to empower you in that space. And not there's nothing wrong, with wanting to connect and have fun and be out and everything, but now you're aware, of the harmony and the benefit of that. And
mhm.
that's the beauty. There's always something really beautiful in the pain and the breaking of just the way life goes. And death happens, things happen, but we have that opportunity to experience the healing. And it doesn't occur overnight. A lot of times it's like a lifetime thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Great point. All right. We got Miss Seta on here. Seta Bonhart. She said, I learned that I love my home and family.
Mhm.
Yes, need people, but this time gave me a release from having to prove myself to anyone and work solidly in those things important to me.
That's awesome.
Awesome. Awesome. Awesome. Awesome.
That's
All
good.
right. Seta said, there will be a new normal.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just it's gonna be curious as to what it looks like, though.
Same
Good.
here.
Yeah.
Same here.
All right. My friend, Mr. Tyler Maximus Lavender out of Atlanta said, life is about balance. Everything in the universe works on balance. COVID has restored balance for a lot of people.
Wow.
And I agree. Um, Things were, I think, a bit off kilter,
Hmm.
and had to come back in order to some extent. So this is a great time to get in balance, get in harmony, get your healing, get your beautiful healing. We are having to be home alone, some of us, or be with our husbands, wives, children, alone, and sit in our thoughts.
Yeah.
The busyness of life has not been something that while we have been concerned about it, it's
Yeah.
not been a concern that we've been able to tend to.
Right.
So with that, now because we have slowed down and been left to our thoughts and maybe are able to process some things that we hadn't previously processed because we were so busy living our lives, going from
Right.
the job to this meeting to this, you know, sporting event for our child or whatever the case may be. But now, in, you know, sheltering in place, working from home, or not working at all,
Yeah.
it just lends itself to that type of activity.
Absolutely. I feel like it highlights the priority.
Mm,
And, like I love what Dr. Asha was saying because, going back to the text messages and DMs and all of that, those alerts going off, I know for me, it feels urgent. Like, oh, let me respond now. Oh, this, oh, that. And now I appreciate more of, is this really a priority? I appreciate being able to sit in that moment and is this really a priority right now? Does
mm,
it have to be done now? Let me sit down and look at my planner and schedule that for next week when it needs to be done. It's not a priority. And so,
right.
like you said, being able to take the time and not be so busy to where we have to just go, 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 that we can just be mindful. I think it's everything.
Okay, good deal. Margot said, I feel you, Nicole. I'm a combination of being introverted and extroverted. I am enjoying this time of being still and not feeling the need to work so hard that
Mhm.
I'm neglecting myself. All right, very good.
Absolutely.
So it looks like a lot of people are getting some lessons during COVID. All
Okay.
right, Janita, greetings, Janita. She said, good evening, ladies. I've learned that some family members are triggers for anxiety. Woo, yes. They see me as a leader, go to person. I've said no on many occasions. I also have stopped answering every call. Listen, but I still have anxiety. So COVID brought more peace, but it wasn't without a few struggles. I've
Right.
learned being alone doesn't equal lonely. I've been
Mhm.
a part of so many wonderful healing conversations. Thanks, Nicole, for this platform. Oh, my pleasure, Janita. Thank you for sharing all of that. Yeah,
Beautiful.
you know, there are definitely some people in our lives that can, set you right on off.
You know, and something I love what Janita was saying about unfortunately the anxiety is real. However, block is real. And
Yes,
sometimes
it is.
I got to block you.
Mm,
I'll get back, especially like today. I know I was gonna be doing this. I was in a good space. A few people got blocked temporarily because I know the energy they bring, and I just couldn't go there. But tomorrow we good. The lines are clear, but you have to look out for yourself and protect yourself.
mhm.
So, and
So,
one other thing too, Nicole,
uh-huh.
like how Gina also mentioned conversations.
Hmm.
I have had a lot more conversations with people.
Hmm.
It's not always text, even
Yeah.
Zoom. Have
Hmm.
you heard of people, kind of opening up more, talking to people and not doing all electronic because it's like, I need to connect. I miss the hugs.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. I think that we are zoomed out, especially those that are in, mainstream business, um,
Yeah.
in terms of working office jobs and that sort of thing. I'm telling you, some of I've heard a girlfriend that had like 6 Zoom meetings a day,
Oh, wow.
and that's just a lot to be
Yes.
logging in and out and zooming it, tuning into these screens. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's just a lot. It can really fatigue you. So
Yeah.
yeah, no, I have definitely heard people talking about having more conversations,
Hmm.
some
Same.
video chat, but definitely on the phone. And
Right.
just trying to stay connected and reach out to folks.
Absolutely. Same here.
So, one of the things that I wanted to chat about before we get ready to shut it down or close out is some of the common issues that we might deal with that are in need of healing.
Okay.
So,
Hmm.
maybe there's a trust issue
Hmm.
because people have not been trustworthy, or they have betrayed your trust.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
maybe there is a forgiveness issue,
Hmm.
because somebody has done something that has wronged you, offended you, and it's just difficult to offend, violated you,
Yeah.
um, difficult for you to forgive.
Hmm.
Maybe there is just a anger, or like there's some people that wear kind of a chip on their shoulder
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
this.
Like a bitterness.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Yeah.
mm-hmm. So I
Yeah.
didn't know if through your experiences as life coach, you know, doing beautiful healing, if there were some common issues or some issues that you see more frequently than other, that people might experience that they need to have healing from, or that maybe we can be aware of as it relates to the need for healing.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think it's really, really important to pay attention to your your body when
Mm-hmm,
you're around certain people. Our
mm-hmm,
bodies tell us things. A couple of different people that I've worked with have kind of ignored certain things. For example, if you're at a family gathering and whenever you see a particular person, you always get a kind of knots in your stomach or you feel uncomfortable. Not ignoring your body and the way that it is communicating with you. Maybe you feel tense, you know? What does that mean? And taking the time to work through it. That's just one example, but
mm-hmm,
many times I find that there's a commonality with women and second guessing themselves,
mm-hmm,
not feeling that they can be free in their conversation. That doubt may come in. Did I say that right? Did I,
mm-hmm,
so being able to get to the root of what is that about? And like I was saying, I feel like a lot of these things go back to a seed of unworthiness that either was planted by somebody that hurt that young lady and did something that was inappropriate,
mm-hmm,
or if it was something that was like a generational curse or a lie this woman believed about herself.
mm-hmm,
Maybe she's uh, beats herself up verbally, these kinds of things.
mm-hmm,
And all of that begins to just mount within, and then you have this individual that is navigating the world in a way that's very much so less than and living with their light dim. So another one has to do with, I was just, it's on the tip of my tongue, but what was it?
So with these things, that you just mentioned, you know, how do we follow these same steps that we talked about? The whole acknowledgement, imagine, commitment, step forward, in order to kind of overcome, or in order to heal from those things. Is Would that be
Well,
your recommendation?
actually, those four steps were, key for my particular journey. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
Okay.
That they're helpful. I mean, it's great. If that's a great resource for a person. I always recommend though, if there's something that's occurring in a person's life, the second guessing to the point that it's disturbing their life,
Mm-hmm.
meaning they are losing relationships over this, or they don't have any peace or confidence in themselves to go forth in anything because of the second guessing, that needs attention.
Okay.
And it's up to that individual to say, okay, what are my options? I
Mm-hmm.
always encourage people to find someone that they can trust to talk to about things that are just pretty much disturbing their life.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it could be some people telling white lies, just feeling like they can't be completely honest about things, or it doesn't matter, it's not really a big deal, but that is a sign of something. So behaviors that people have always lead to something within that, if they are willing to do the work within and find out what's going on, they can love themselves whole, by getting that therapy, getting that help. I always encourage people to get the help that they need. And, one other thing that I'd like to make sure that I say tonight is that many times, Nicole, people go through a lot of different hard things growing up.
Mm-hmm.
And then they kind of, I know I'll speak for myself. So growing up, things were the way they were, and I expected, I got married for all my problems to go away. I kind of had the Cinderella, not like literally, like I thought I was going to be like, look at this Cinderella. However, I had the fairy tale vibe, of when I get married, it's going to be one way and it's going to be, and when Lewis and I got married and I realized this is a real man and he's awesome, but we got to learn how to, be married, be one. And, I just was like, oh my God, not that anything is wrong with Lewis. We just had to learn. This is what this marriage is. You got to be mindful. So the thing is that I'm getting at is that we have to be willing to be honest with ourselves about the things that we're coming up on in life. And sometimes a prayer is all you need.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you need to get your pastor involved. Sometimes you need to see a professional. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you need a prescription.
Mm-hmm.
And my thing is just that I love, how people talk about all these different things, but we're living in a very traumatic time. There's a lot of things going on. And I just urge anybody that's listening to this that you are worthy, you are worth living for, and it is okay if you don't feel okay with all this stuff going on, but you don't have to be in that and struggle in silence. And, if you want to reach out, you can email me at felicia@beautifulhealing.life. And I'm happy to point you in the right direction or, work with you in the best way that I can if we're a good fit.
Okay, I appreciate that. So I wrote that down as the 4 P's.
Okay.
4 P's. She said a prayer, a pastor, a professional, or a prescription. All right. That's what she
Be
said.
real about it. Let's be real about it.
All right. Nothing wrong with that. I appreciate that. All right. We got Dan the Man Richardson on here. Greetings, Dan. Thanks for tuning in. He said, during this time, I've been focusing on loving people where they are at and coaching them to narrate their own stories.
That's beautiful.
That is. That is. I
Yes.
wonder how you do that, Dan. Coaching their own stories. Look, because people be making some stuff up, don't they? So Leslie, who was on the live earlier but had some technical difficulty, she texted me and said, "I have always been my first best friend. I need my me time." So that was
Right.
her response to our what have you been doing during the COVID or learning or healing from. So
Right.
cool. All right. Well, any remarks in closing? I'm going to put your email and website information in the comments so folks can refer to it. But any
Awesome.
closing remarks that you want to make?
I just want to thank you, Nicole. You've been such a blessing in my life. And I just want to take time to just encourage you and support and acknowledge all of the beautiful things that you do with giving and serving. I see the food drive and all the different things, even in the pandemic, just have a beautiful heart. And it's just really, really cool to see that, regardless of, because we're all human and dealing with things. But I just see such a beautiful heart within you. And it's really cool to see how you light up Tallahassee with different things that you got going on. So keep going, girl.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. It truly is a labor of love. So, I am a giver by nature. So part of me just can't help it.
Yeah,
I just see a cause and am led to go assist, and I do just that. So, um,
absolutely. That's
I
beautiful.
think that's just one of my, I guess, giftings, if you will. So, but
Absolutely.
um, Yeah, no, I'm glad. Thank you for being on here. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you for
Um,
having me.
yeah, your thoughts about beautiful healing. And yeah, thank you for the folks that have been on here. We're getting a lot of great feedback. So
Awesome.
let's see. Javon said, great conversation as always. Thanks, ladies.
Awesome.
Friendly, who was on a couple of weeks ago, he said the
Thank
four
you.
P's.
I'm so friend. Mr. Moise.
Yes, Mr. Moise. And then Margot said, amazing conversation, ladies.
Oh, thank you.
Right. Thank you, Margot. Michael Walker, greetings, my friend. He said, just listening and watching this evening, but great show, excellent content. Keep doing you. We are watching God work through you. To God be the glory. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Beautiful.
All right. Janita said, Felicia, do you have a page to follow for daily healing inspiration?
Yes, Miss Janita, I have the Beautiful Healing Facebook page. So if you want to go on over there, you can like the page. And then also you can reach me on Facebook, and I can also share some other information with you about the love letters that go out every month.
Yes. So y'all check her out on IG as well. Great inspiration. I was looking at some of the quotes earlier. One of the ones that stood out to me, because I'm a gardener. It says, strong gardens receive daily maintenance to experience vitality. The same is true for you. I love that. I love
Yeah,
that quote. So we
yeah.
got to maintain these life gardens, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. We do. I have a vision for something that I'm dedicating to my mom in her memory, and it's called a mother's garden. So I would love to talk to you
Oh,
about that.
love
Yeah,
it.
that's something in the works. So we have to talk about that.
Nice, nice. I would love to help out with that. All right.
Okay.
Dr. Asha said, thank you.
Thank you, Asha.
Yes. Johnny wants to know, is most of your business based on referrals?
I get a number of referrals. I really, really do. And then sometimes people find me online. But basically, so far this year, it's been word of mouth.
Okay, cool. Cool, cool, cool. All right. And Fransley said, great job,
Thank
ladies.
you.
Yes,
Thank
great
you,
job, ladies.
Fran.
Thanks, friends. We appreciate it. So, this concludes our discussion on beautiful healing. But before we go, of course, I have to invite you to subscribe to the Conversations with Nicole YouTube channel. YouTube. So subscribing is supporting, and we need all the support we can get. So please subscribe today. Being a follower of the Facebook page or on IG is not the same as subscribing to the YouTube channel. So go on there and subscribe. Let's see. So we got next week is gonna be Alonza Morris is coming back for part 2 of Men Who Hide. And then
Mm,
on next Wednesday is Dr. Asha, who
nice.
will be talking about She and her book.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yes,
So we will talk about that as well. So
definitely.
overflow. Yes, that was the theme of She last year. So overflow. So
Mhm. Yeah.
definitely tune in to that. This is the holiday weekend, although most of us will probably still be around the house and not traveling, like we normally would
Yes.
for the holiday that kicks off the summer, but that's okay. We're just grateful to be alive and to be able to be with our loved ones and
Yes.
so on and so forth. So y'all be safe out there and take care. Fransley said, good food from the garden. Yes, good food from the garden. Look,
Yes.
it rained really hard here in Tallahassee, so the garden is gonna be on and popping by the time I get out there on Saturday. So yes.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
I was gonna check out this garden too. I
Yeah,
see it,
you need
and
to
it
come
is
Saturday. Look, I'm
beautiful.
out there either late morning, early afternoon, sometimes a little late in the afternoon, but just text me, let me know, and
I
I'll meet you out
will.
there. We got
I
a lot
would
of
love
goodies
it.
to give away. It's a community garden, true community garden. So we give
Awesome.
away free food every Saturday.
That's
All right.
awesome.
Dan said, awesome, ladies. Thanks again, Nicole. Thank you, Dan, for being on and for your contribution to the conversation. So All right. Dr. These some callers. All right, you better hurry up because they about to be gone. It's not college season anymore. So we do have a few left though, honestly. So if you want some, Saturday is the day. I can pick you some and we can make it happen. So let me know. Let me know. All right. Well, again, appreciate y'all. Appreciate you, Felicia. So
Appreciate
y'all have a good rest of the night and we will see y'all next time.
Happy girl.